What is going on, people? So, as you see, we're on the Triumph Bobber and we're cruising in the rural. Not a lot of people out, which is nice. I gotta go left. These roads I don't know. Okay. Go left here. Scrape the foot peg. So scraping the foot peg is actually a thing on the Triumph Bobber because of the clearance. But what am I doing today with the Triumph Bobber? So I recently got an Öhlins rear shock. I bought it from A&J Cycles, who have been really nice to deal with. And it's a big improvement from the stock shock as far as comfort. Even the ride height I think you could adjust, which is cool, because right now I'm sitting a bit higher than it was originally with the stock shock, but I'm still really feeling it on bumps. So I'm going to take it. I called Öhlins, and they gave me a list of some Öhlins service centers that are kind of scattered out throughout the United States. There's not a lot, but there's one in Wisconsin. It's about an hour and 15 minutes, which isn't a bad ride. It's a gorgeous day out today. So I made an appointment at noon. It says I'll be there at 12:03, so I'm on time, and I'll probably make up a few minutes cruising. But what they're going to do is take the bike, dial in the sag, take my weight, and kind of dial in the shock with the preload or whatever the heck they can do. I'm not super great at it, hence bringing it in to them to have them dial it in for me, because I really don't want to mess around with it and make it worse. But I also want to optimize the money I spent on the Öhlins rear shock, because a lot of times if you just get a shock it's not dialed in for your weight or for whatever it is, it's not going to work out in its best interest, which then kind of defeats the purpose of spending the money and having the new shock installed. So I'm hoping dialing this thing in will really remedy a lot. I don't know. I mean, certain bumps are super jarring on this bike, and I'm trying to dial that in so that doesn't happen. Go ahead, this is a little tighter turn. Woo. It's a super fun bike. But today, I'm just cruising. It's a really rural, barely any cars on the entire ride, which is pretty nice and somewhat special, because it's basically just you, farmland, nature, agriculture, country, cruise. Cruise control is nice. I cleaned it before I left, so all pretty. I got my drone with me. I got a protein bar. I got a little, hey, look out there. Little groundhog crossing the street. Don't want to smush him. And yeah, I got my drone. I'll try to get some footage. It's by a place called Lake Delavan, Wisconsin. I can put a link to the place below just in case anyone's in the area wanting to dial in their bike. But having an official Öhlins service place that they're stating that they can do a good job is key. So that's kind of how I honed in. I called Öhlins, talked to one of their service guys, and they sent me a list of things to do or places I could go to have them do it for me. I'd rather not mess around. I think it's $80 to have them do this. It shouldn't take more than an hour. And I'm hoping, as I said, it remedies some of this, and at least I get that much closer to having the bike and the ride that I really want. Because again, there are times where this thing, you hit a bump, like a decent bump, and it just rocks your world. And that's not comfortable at all. Now this thing, I think I got to go on the tollway. Maybe I don't. No, it's taking me on some road that goes along the tollway. Fruit farm. Whoa, scrape the pegs and gravel. The scraping the peg sound is kind of annoying because it always catches me off guard. I'm not used to scraping pegs because I'm used to sport bikes with higher ground clearance. But I mean, on the rural roads, this thing's a lot of fun. Of course, sport bikes are fun too, but you know what? It's kind of nice that you don't have to always be so concerned about doing warp speeds and speeding so aggressively to the point where you're either going to have a situation or, you know, you're looking over your shoulder the entire ride. This thing is not going to be that kind of bike, and police and stuff don't really look at it like that kind of bike, because it's not. It's not a sport bike. You're not fitting the mold of all the guys who are kind of disrespecting and causing all kind of annex. And I'm not saying I've never done that or been that guy, but it's just nice laying low a bit than having a lower profile one taking a cruise. So it's a bit more of a mature ride, I guess, and bike option. I need a new pair of gloves. I got a hole in my thumb. I mean, look at how nice this is. Just you and the open road. Feeling the bike, experiencing it, feeling the wind a little bit, even though I have a helmet on. And yeah, just enjoying what we all love, two-wheel therapy, and it's just great. I mean, look at, there's nobody out. It's a Friday. It's early enough that I cannot have to deal with any traffic. Address the bike, hopefully, as I said, get it to where it's that much closer to the bike I really want. And that's really it. I just wanted to do a short little video. I'll do a follow-up video, or maybe I'll even extend this one to where I talk about how the bike feels after I get it adjusted and the preload and everything dialed in and the sag. I don't even know a lot about that. I just know you need to have a lift to do it, and you also have to have the knowledge of how to set it up for your specific weight and all that kind of stuff. So that's it, guys, for now. Aloha. I'm going to enjoy the ride and just kind of cruise the rural roads. I got 37 minutes to go. Perfect timing, 12:02. I'll make up another couple minutes easily. And yeah, pay attention to your bike. And, you know, exhaust and all that stuff, cosmetic, is great, but really having your bike dialed in, suspension-wise, brake-wise, all of that kind of stuff is really super crucial. When I was younger, and I won't go into it, but I had a 2001 GSXR. I probably put 15 grand in the motor. The thing was a beast. It was dynoing at 208 to 210 at the rear wheel, which back in 2001 was unheard of. And I spent the money and had a race shop, you know, do cams, do much as you can do to that motor, and it was amazing. But I also had them CompuTrack it. I also had an Öhlins front end and shock in the back. So I had it all dialed perfectly to my weight and to my riding style, and that thing was just a freaking beast. It was fun, it was fast, but the most important thing is it was dialed to me specifically, so it was essentially my bike 110%. Meant for me, and that was that. But again, the importance of having all that set up is really key. So until then, we'll talk in a little bit, and bye. All right, guys, so I just came back from the Öhlins Tech, and we went through this bike, and what we basically found out is that there's not a ton we can do with the rear shock. He adjusted the rebound on it so it doesn't spring back as quickly, which wasn't a big adjustment, but he said it may help. I dropped my PSI on my front tire to 31, and I'm going to order, because that's basically what I was thinking, this Adriani spring set for the front end, because the front end is what has a lot of the issues, and I could feel that and tell that. Hold on a second. Okay. Hebron, Illinois. Homa State Champions 1952. This town used to have, or it still does, but it's not working anymore. It's a little police station. Here, you know what? Maybe I'll just turn really quickly and show you. Give you a little tour. But that water tower is kind of infamous when you're driving around this area in northern Illinois. And it's always been a little place that we would kind of get a kick out of. It's called the Hebron. And I'll show you what the police station used to consist of, which is kind of funny. There's actually a Trump Patriot store. I don't know what that's about, but okay, thank you. There's a lot of distraction over here, but I'm going to show you this little building, which was the police station, actually a working police station back in the day. I'm saying 70s and 80s, and then it's no longer anymore. It's probably just a little historic thing. But right to the right, here we go. This was the police station. This guy right here. Right over there. Boom. So that was actually the police station. Usually it would be a cop car parked up here, and that was that. But anywho, kind of funny and fun. So I'm on my way home and back from the shop. He basically said what I was kind of thinking. The front end is what needs some love. So I'm going to order from A&J Cycles this Adriani spring kit. It's like $700-800. But I'm hoping he can give me a little discount code, which may help out a little bit. So it's probably going to be $1,000 with everything, with the install. But this thing, basically, the front end on this, essentially is like an accordion. It hits a bump and it just kind of goes up and down. So adjusting the oil weight in the front end and messing around with springs basically isn't going to do a lot from what they were saying. So the best bet is to go ahead and get that Adriani, which I don't know a lot about, kit, which I'll put a link in the description below, and the Trump store. That's so distracting. Anyway, I don't know what's in there. That would be actually a good thing to walk into and see, but also maybe a little bit frightening. But regardless, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the trigger probably sooner than later, because again, when I was on the way here and I hit some bumps, I could feel it way more in my front end, basically feeling like it wasn't doing anything for the bike or me, and the rear end doesn't feel that out of line, and it does feel like it's doing what it needs to do for the most part. So when I hit a bump, essentially it's jarring me in the handlebars, and this hopefully will remedy it and kind of give, again, me the bike that I really want to have, which is somewhat comfortable when riding, when you're actually coming across roads that are bumpy, because it's really uncomfortable and really distracting, and it really does disrupt the whole momentum of the bike. If you're in a turn or something, you really don't want to hit anything because you know it's not going to absorb it well. So that's it, a little follow-up for now, and I hope this info helps a teeny bit. So to wrap this up, we basically adjusted the rebound on the Öhlins shock, adjusted the tire pressure. He advised and suggested to order that Adriani front end thing, and I'll get that installed, and that should be pretty much all this bike is going to benefit from without spending a ton of money, which is probably really unnecessary. So Öhlins doesn't make a full front end for this regardless, so really without spending a bunch of money, that's going to be the best remedy, we both think. So that's it, guys. Hope this helps. Bye.